and inspiration that MediaPost for years has been doing shows about channels within the online media marketing and advertising world, and that there was actually a need to start talking about knitting the channels together, and because that's obviously in the end what every brand has to deal with and manage. And so some of our good longtime supporters of our shows, Strongview, now Celigent is one of them. You're going to hear from Nick Worth in a moment. Urged us in that idea to launch the Cross-Channel Marketing Insider Summit. So we did that last August for the first time in Lake Tahoe, to a good reception, and have decided to try to make it a staple of the shows we do. And so I'm not going to try to tell you what cross-channel means. Hopefully we'll exactly what it means, or in total what it means. We'll hopefully over the next 3 days get into all that in quite a bit of depth. But it's the idea that no channel in and of itself, or no device, or no medium, or no effort is sufficient, and that they do all tie together, and learning how they tie together, and having each channel inform the ability or the insights and abilities to optimize all channels. So that's kind of what I understand it to be. And we're delighted to have that one of those longtime sponsors of our shows, Strongview, which has merged with Celigent and is an international company now. Strongview, I think, is supported our Email Insider Summit from virtually the very beginning, which would have been 10 years ago. So obviously, they're great people that we appreciate very much. You're going to hear from Nick Worth, who's the CMO of Celigent, right now. Nick?
And my voice is not what it should be. So that the topic this morning is at journey's end. Are we at the end of the comprehensible sort of customer journey? Does the journey make sense anymore? Does lifecycle marketing make sense anymore in a world in which hyperconnectivity is changing consumers' behavior and causing a rapid and profound shift in the way that people engage with brands? So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But first I'm going to talk about my journey here, because I had quite a journey here. I was at another conference with some of my colleagues and a bunch of people from MediaPost last couple days in Las Vegas, and yesterday I flew from Las Vegas to Phoenix. I live in the UK. Celigent is a European company. I live in the UK, but as you can hear, I'm an American. So I go to the TSA guys and say, here I am ready to get on my American Airlines flight from Las Vegas to Phoenix, which, as you know, is about a 40-minute journey. And I've lived in the UK for a long time, and legally speaking, I need to have a UK driving license. But getting a UK driving license is a big pain in the ass because the test is very, very hard. The British love enforcing pointless rules, and the people who give the tests love preying on stupid Americans and failing them, and the humiliation is more than I can manage to contemplate. So I don't have a UK driving license, even though I'm supposed to. I have a US driving license. So I go there, I hand them my driving license, and they look at it, and they are very confused. I am from a place called Washington, D.C. You might have heard a lot about it in the Republican primaries. I am wasteful, full of fraud and abuse, you can tell, but bloated. Anyway, so I go there with my District of Columbia driver's license and try to get through security. No dice. What is this District of Columbia? Not letting me through. Call another guy. Other guy comes over, says, what part of Canada is that? I'm not Canadian, my friends from MediaPost are. I don't know all the provinces and territories of Canada, but I'm thinking the District of Columbia is not one of them. So it took 5 TSA guys to get to the point where they let me through and onto my flight, which I almost missed because I'm from the District of Columbia. So that was a bad moment for me. I have no choice but to use TSA when I want to fly. But it kind of stank. And I won't remember the other 900 interactions I've had with TSA over the last 10 years or whatever since they've existed, but I will certainly remember this one forever. And I'm going to touch back on that in a minute just because I thought it was a sign of our imminent doom, first of all, but also sort of an interesting example of customer engagement. So with that, let me talk to you a little bit about what I was supposed to talk about, which is over here, what Selligent is. So we're a leading European campaign management and engagement solution. We're a digital campaign management and execution platform. The company was founded in Belgium and is one of the leading players across Europe. The fact that it's European is quite important as you think about what the attributes of Selligent are. So basically, the tool set was developed to serve national marketers in European countries. And national marketers in European countries are a little bit different than national marketers in the US for a couple of key reasons. First of all, they have less money. They want to do all the same stuff, but they have less money because their companies are smaller because the national markets are smaller. Secondly, they have smaller teams. They have fewer people helping them out. And their IT resources, and I know that this will, you might not believe me, are even worse than they are for US marketers. So it's a disaster. So these guys are really fighting an uphill battle, but they want to accomplish everything that US guys want to accomplish. And they're serving a multilingual, multicultural environment. We're Belgian-based. There's only 11 million people in Belgium. Half of them speak Dutch and half of them speak French. That's a very small market to be delivering against, but you have marketers who want to do all the same stuff that US marketers want to do. And finally, there's this thing called the EU Privacy Directive, which makes the lives of marketers in Europe really challenging. So our tool set has got a lot of data stewardship capabilities built into it from the word jump. It has to. There's no other way that we could operate successfully. This summer, Selligent got new investment from a Silicon Valley private equity firm, and we teamed up with those guys and acquired StrongView, which, as you know, is a leading email marketing platform in the US. The two companies are kind of about the same size, and we brought them together. So what's StrongView all about? StrongView's tool set is designed for a large market, for an innovative market where there's world-leading marketing going on. It's designed to deliver the most relevant possible messaging in every situation. It's built for the scalability of the US market, for people like Walmart, for people like Yahoo who are delivering enormous burst traffic of email. And it's based in Silicon Valley, so we're pretty good at innovation. So the idea was, put these two things together, and you have a global player in the direct marketing space in digital campaign management and execution. On the left, you see the things that we say about ourselves. On the right, you see some fast facts, 700 clients, 500 employees. Bunch of great brands. We have offices all over. We're both global and local. But the key thing I want you to take away is this, that we're now the world's leading independent technology provider for relationship marketers. We compete with a bunch of people who are much, much bigger than us, who are focused on Fortune 50 CMOs, right? Because that's their ultimate goal, is to sell a fully integrated cloud that serves every single aspect of the marketing organization. That is not what we do. We serve relationship marketers. We're excited about relationship marketing and one-to-one engagement. That's our passion. That's where we innovate. That's where we focus. But we're bigger than some of the smaller players in the relationship marketing space, and we think that's a great winning formula. So that's the pitch. I'll move forward. Okay, so talking quickly about hyperconnectivity. There's lots of smartphones. You guys know that there's 5 billion of them. A lot of us sleep with our phones. In fact, most of us sleep with our phones. And if you look at it now, as of 2014, we spend more time on our phones than with our TV. We consume more media on our phones than we do on our desktop. So the world's flipped. The inflection point is in the past. The phone is the thing going forward, and that changes a lot of stuff. But it's not just tech that's changing, it's also consumers that are changing. So this is my nod to taco adoption. Took McDonald's 18 years to sell 100 million hamburgers. Taco Bell rolled out a partnership with Doritos a couple years ago. It's a wonderful product. The shell is made of Doritos and the inside is Taco Bell. Sadly, not available where I live in the United Kingdom. But anyway, the Doritos Taco Bell thing sold 100 million units in 10 weeks. Because that's what consumer life cycles are like, product life cycles are like now. Consumers are expecting things to change all the time and for there to be new stuff. So if we look about all this change, what do? How do we deal with it? Well, let's look and see what's happening. So social sharing is one thing that we're doing. We did this for ING Bank, where we hooked up with music festivals. ING provided free toilets, good parking, lockers for kids to store their stuff, and then they shared their experiences through our system to all their friends on social by sending videos out. So it's social, but also meeting a customer need, which is young people, future lifetime bank customers, getting stuff they want when they go to summer music festivals just before they get their first job. Walgreens has a wonderful program. Walgreens is another customer of ours. Walgreens figured out that one of the dilemmas when you go to get a prescription filled is, do I stay or do I go, right? You put it in and you're kind of not sure. Is it going to be worth it? So what Walgreens did was they set up a thing with their app so that they notify you as your prescription is being filled, and it pushes to your app, which is fantastic because then for the consumer, you know, oh, I'm not going to miss a moment. I don't have to bug the desk every couple minutes, but I will be right there the minute it's ready. It's like one of those buzzers at Buffalo Wild Wings or something. And what it does is it means people install an app that they might not have installed, and they don't leave the store. And while they're waiting in the store, what do? They remember a lot of stuff that they needed to buy because they've got 20 minutes to kill. And it's a great and very smart use of technology by Walgreens. This is the egg minder. This is fantastic. The egg minder is one of my favorite Internet of Things things. Okay? It's an egg tray that's internet connected. Now, you didn't know that you needed that, but you do. The thing about eggs is you don't know how many you have, unless you're a lot more OCD than me. You don't know how many eggs are in the fridge at a given moment, and you certainly don't know when you bought them, particularly if you put them in the nice little tray in the fridge. So how many do you have, and are they fresh? You buy your egg minder tray, and it connects to your phone, and it tells you how many eggs you have and when you bought them. And it reminds you when they're about to go off, and it reminds you when you need to buy more. And that's a cool data stream, as well as a way of remembering when you need to buy more eggs. This thing here is Amazon Dash. Some of you probably heard of this. This is an ARS tool. I know which retailers in the room will know what ARS is. Automatic replenishment system. That's how retailers keep their stores, their shelves full. It's a part of advanced logistics, supply chain stuff for retailers. But it's only ever been on the supply side, never on the demand side. ARS, Amazon Dash moves ARS to the demand side. You run out of washing powder, washing detergent, as you would say in the US, and you press the button, and it loads up your Amazon shopping cart with whatever kind of Tide is your preference, or whatever kind of brand is your preference. Next time you go to Amazon, it remembers that you're running out of detergent, and it ships it off to you. Historically, we underwrite car insurance based on group dynamics. If you're an older woman who drives a brown four-door, you get a lower rate. If you're a younger man who drives a red two-door, you pay a hell of a lot more. But it's really not fair or sensible because that's based on group. It works. That's how the insurance industry stays afloat. But it doesn't really make any sense. It should be based on what you do, your own behavior. So now insurance companies are putting trackers in cars that create feedback loops, throw off valuable data for them, but they create feedback loops so that they can underwrite insurance on an individual basis and reward good driving, right? So that's a smart way that hyperconnectivity is changing a very fundamental and long-standing business process. We used to sell, we still mostly sell, homes and offices by having people visit them. But through virtual reality, that's changing. They're starting to rent office buildings in San Francisco and New York with virtual reality tools so that they can see what demand there is for the inventory, the space inventory, before they even build the thing. Similarly, our client Samsung hooked up with Marriott, put virtual reality headsets in a bunch of their properties so that you can look at wonderful vacation while you're in the Des Moines Marriott. You can check out African and Chinese destinations that would be wonderful holidays for you through the VR set that's in the hotel. This, finally, is the Magic Band. This is one of Disney's things. The Magic Band is designed to take the friction out of visiting Disney for the parents because the kids want to go to Disney and the parents don't want to go to Disney because it's going to be such a logistical nightmare and be horrible for them. So the Magic Band gets sent to you in advance, you figure out your itinerary, they send you the band, and then everything starts to happen smoothly. When you arrive in Orlando, you swipe, the Magic Band allows you to tag the bags so they go straight to your hotel room. When you walk into the hotel, you swipe the Magic Band, you're handed your keys and you're off, and then you're given a schedule, and you just move from ride to ride, never waiting in a line, always with smiles on your kids' faces, hopefully even a smile on your face as you're going through it. You go to a restaurant, the geolocation in your phone allows them to bring the food to you without you telling them. It makes the experience much more magical. It is an example of what Disney calls CMR, Customer Managed Relationship. It doesn't work perfectly, but it's a genius idea. Now, the point I want to make about Disney is this. Disney is a company that was created for hand-drawn animators to make beautiful things. It is a business that does not exist. It's as dead as horseshoes, right? There is no business making hand-drawn animation anymore. It's just gone, right? And they've transformed themselves. Let me show you about, this is the next company I want to talk about, Kodak, a company that invented the digital camera. And they chose not to push the digital camera because it would cannibalize their film business. And y'all, if you look for Kodak products now, you won't have a lot of success because the company went out of business because they refused to transform into a digital company. So this is our friend Darwin saying you need to adopt or you will die, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about how marketers need to adopt. But in order to do that, I want to go back to Don. So here's Don. He's very nervous about what to do about the hyper-connected consumer. But he has an inspiration, and he looked to another very sad and lonely man. Anyone know who this is? This is Heraclitus. I don't know if you know who Heraclitus is. Heraclitus is a 6th century BC Greek philosopher whose obsession, who's a very actually kind of miserable dude, but he understood one thing, which is change is the only constant. That was the underpinning of all of his thinking. And he said a very profound thing, which I think is super cool and incredibly relevant to all of us, which is, no man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man, right? There's change in the river, there's change in the person, that moment, that confluence of events is unique, truly unique. We use unique a lot, but this is actually unique as it's meant to be. Now, what does that mean for us? You never market to the same customer twice because they're always in a different situation, right? The situation that they are in today might be very different. They might have been shopping for baby stuff 2 years ago, but now the baby's grown up and they have a moment to go out and they want to do something entirely different. So this is Uber, a company that I patronize a great deal and love very much, except for one thing. I give them all my data about my location in return for this magical service and digital receipts, which I value a great deal. Now, this is me in LA, Miami, and Boston in a period of 3 days, because that's the kind of life I have. And these are some emails that I got from Uber to take up offers in cities that I was not traveling in. I find that annoying. I am so happy to give up first-party data Uber in return for their service, to tell them where I am, but I would like them not to make me offers for cool stuff that I can't have because I'm not in the cities that they're pushing to me. So I'm not going to stop using Uber, but just it's a point about hyperconnectivity and expectations and data sharing and what consumers think when that happens. All right. So a couple minutes more talking about what we think the answer is. And I'm not really going to talk about our software. If you want to talk about our software, we will talk to you about our software, but that's not the purpose this morning. The purpose is to talk about how do you deal with this world where there's all this change? How do you deal with a world where the customer journey is not as rigid as it once was, where expectations from consumers are higher than they've ever been? How do you deal with it? Well, we think you put the consumer first, and this is where I want to connect with what Ken said about why we're all here. We think it's a terribly bad mistake to put the channel first. We used to say we're an omnichannel company. We're not saying that anymore. We're saying we're consumer first. The channel is a means to the end of connecting with the consumer in the moment. I believe that we're really good at executing across channels. I also believe that any number of our competitors are pretty good at that too. I think the issue is, how do you connect with consumers in that critical moment? How do you give them the message that matters? Maybe or maybe not, you need a 50-step life cycle thing. You can argue in different industries it's more or less appropriate. But what you do need is, at those moments of truth, when I've got my District of Columbia's driver's license, I'm trying to get on the damn plane before the door closes, that the brand recognizes what's going on and intervenes in a positive way for me. Makes me a great offer, delights me with some engaging content, right? Solves my service problem, whatever it is. And that's what we think is necessary. So what does that mean? It means that your communications need to be insight and context driven. You need to be totally channel flexible and touchpoint agnostic, which means whatever touchpoint is required to hit the consumer in that moment, you're able to do it. You've got to respect consumer choice and data privacy, because if you don't, the consequences will be dire, and you always have to be there for your customers at all times. So, breaking it down another way, we think there's two pillars here: integrity and empathy. Integrity is you're straight, you obey the law, and you seek out preference, whether that preference is about channel, subject matter, frequency, it doesn't matter. You seek out preference, and then you abide by the preferences that the consumer expresses. And then empathy, which is that your communications, unlike Uber's communications, to me, will be relevant, empathetic, situational, on the right channel, and have the relevant context. You're on your plane gets canceled. It's not the airline's fault, but it sucks. They want you to call, wait 30 minutes in a loud airport for some customer service agent who then starts barking stuff at you faster than you can understand it. Why don't they just send you a text that says, choose A, B, or C? These are the 3 ways we can get you home. It's expensive for them to have somebody talk to me, and it doesn't work very well. There's a better channel for that communication, a better way of handling it. Okay, so here's some of the stuff that, this is the only thing I'm going to talk about our product, but we think live content is critical. In other words, the ability to make sure that when you send an email, the content is accurate and relevant at the time it's opened as opposed to the time it's sent, right? We think that's very important. We think push messaging is critical. Rich messaging in apps, that you have location triggers once your app environment can support that. And that probably the most achievable thing here is having real-time links to site behavior. So, you know, you've got a consumer, if you're a retailer or in any number of other verticals, you've got consumers who are coming to your website and they're throwing off incredibly valuable data about what is relevant to them in that moment. Pair that with all the rich transactional CRM data, and then you got something super powerful, right? It gets its big data-y, but it's not that big data-y, and it's a manageable merge that can give you some real relevance in your communications. We think that unlocks a lot of powerful possibilities. Final thing, we're in the sun, but I'm going to give you a winter example anyway, just because I'm so happy to be here and I want to think about those miserable people in the snow. This is our customer Redfin. They're a real estate broker. They use weather triggers with their customers. So what happens is you buy a house via Redfin, and Redfin's got weather triggers set up. So whenever there's the first snowstorm after you buy a house, Redfin sends the customer an email saying, first snowfall, everything okay? Big moment. Send us a picture, we'll post it, of your house in the snow. Any problems, any service issue, any problems with the roof or whatever? Can we help you out? We'll get you a qualified service person. There's no offer in there. There's no offer to sell anything. It's just you bought a house from us. We care about you. You just had a snowfall. This is a big thing. We also know you're not going to buy another house anytime soon, but still, we are thinking about this event the way that you are. You were being empathetic. For you, is when you buy a house and snow falls on, it's a big thing. And Redfin says, by sending this totally automated email, we're thinking of you, we care about you, not about the transaction, but about you and the experience that you're having, and it's quite a cool little program. So, and we can feel sorry for the guy with the snowblower, because here we are in Arizona, it's 80 degrees and sunny and happy, and we're all together. So I'll close with a photo of my 2 sad guys. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Look forward to getting to know all of you over the next couple of days.
Thanks, Nick. They do look sad, don't they? They look like they're bummed about marketing. You shouldn't be bummed about marketing. We should be happy. All right, so actually,